Hi, it's Andy. Please excuse the fact that I look like crap. I've had a migraine now for 16 days when I'm filming this and basically feel like crap. So this is what we're working with. I also went to work today to realise that I had a day off, so the day's going great. So today I'm going to be showing you my April book haul. I finally got into Waterstones after receiving gift cards for Christmas, and I've been waiting to go into Waterstones to use the gift cards because I wanted to be in the bookshop and I wanted to be able to touch the books, see the books and see what appealed to me. So the haul I'm about to do, that's from those gift cards, so thank you so much to my family who gifted me those, and I'm so excited to get through this with you. The first book I'm going to show you is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I don't think I need to explain to anybody what this is about. This is about Victor Frankenstein, who is a scientist, and he decides to create this creature which he then decides is a monster, using body parts of dead people. And you learn through this the actual intelligence of the monster, and it begs the question, who's really the monster? Frankenstein's monster or Frankenstein himself? I read this as part of a trilogy book thing that had Dracula, Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I DNF'd Dracula. I did not like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I love Frankenstein, so I decided to get myself a copy, and when I saw this copy I could not resist. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love, well, you know I'm a sucker for a nice cover, this red colour and the electricity, it's beautiful. Absolutely love this. The second book is The City of Tears by Kate Moss. There was a sticker here and I didn't quite get it off cleanly, so it's doing that thing. This is the second book in this. I don't know if it's going to be a series or not, but Kate Moss is one of my favourite authors. She does historical fiction, and alongside that she does historical fiction which splits time, so you follow one in the present and one in the past, and I love that. I absolutely adored Labyrinth and Sepulchre, so I just continued to follow her, and this is the second book. I can't remember what the first one was called, but I got that in hardback, so I decided to get this in hardback, and also it's a signed copy, and since she's one of my favourite authors I could not pass up the chance to get a signed copy. It is stunning. It's also this lovely blue under the dust jacket, which is the colour of the first book. So this is following on, it's set in the 1500s, late 1500s, during the Wars of Religion in France, and it follows our main character, whose name I cannot remember, but I might have to reread the first one because I cannot quite remember what this is all about. Third book is My Dark Vanessa. I have seen people raving about this, and it's not normally something I would read, but it intrigues me, so I really want to pick it up. Even if it's not something I would normally read, I am doing really well at pushing it in my comfort zone, so I picked this up hoping that I would enjoy it. This, as far as I'm aware, is about a girl who had an affair with her English teacher. So it says, Vanessa Y was 15 years old when she first had sex with her English teacher. Now the teacher, Jacob Strain, has been accused of sexual abuse by another former student, and a journalist has asked Vanessa to contribute to a story about him, but no one seems to understand that what Vanessa and Strain had together wasn't abuse, it was love. And I think this is maybe Vanessa realising that in fact it was abuse, because I don't think I need to tell you how this is abuse. I really love this cover. I think it is stunning. The ones I've seen from a lot of American booktubers has been quite a dark cover, and it looks more like I would expect it to be like a turn of the century type novel, whereas this makes it feel very much like it was, to me that says it was set in the 80s or the 90s. So given that she was 15 and now she's older, perhaps that's the case, but I'm so interested. This is a subject that really intrigues me because I kind of understand you do get close to teachers, and as a student, yeah, you may develop feelings and you may develop a crush, and then, you know, we've seen it time and time again, teachers take advantage of that, predators take advantage of that, and sometimes they claim it as love and sometimes you know, they're just predators. So I think this is really important, I think, for young people to read as well. But yeah, I'll tell you, I think after I've read it. The next book, which is number four, is How We Disappeared. This piqued my interest because it caught my eye because it looked like Pachinko, which is a book that Reagan from Peru's Project really likes. And the cover looked like it, and I thought it was Pachinko, and it wasn't. But this sounds so interesting. So it's Singapore 1942, as Japanese troops sweep down Malaysia and into Singapore, a village is ransacked, only 3 survivors remain, one of them a tiny child. In a neighbouring village, 17-year-old Wang Di is bundled into the back of a troop carrier and shipped off to a Japanese military brothel. In the year 2000, her mind is still haunted by her experiences there, but she has long been silent about her memories of that time. It takes 12-year-old Kevin and the mumbled confession he overhears from his ailing grandmother to set in motion a journey into the unknown to discover the truth. Weaving together 2 timelines and 2 life-changing secrets, How We Disappeared is an evocative, profoundly moving and utterly dazzling novel heralding the arrival of a thrilling new literary star. So this is Jingjing Li, who is the thrilling new literary star. I think this sounds amazing. Not amazing in the way that, obviously it's terrible that people had to go through this, but I am a massive World War II historical fiction fan. However, most of the World War II historical fiction that I read is very much Eurocentric, and I'm starting to branch out into things, again, out with my comfort zone. I know a lot about World War II in Europe, my family were involved in World War II in Europe. That is something that I am very aware of. We were taught about it in school, but what we weren't taught about is how Asia suffered, is how Asian Americans suffered in America just because they were Asian. If they even remotely looked Asian, didn't matter if they were Japanese or not, they got put into internment camps. And these internment camps weren't overly much better than some of the camps the Germans set up, to be perfectly honest from what I'm learning. And as well, given that it is AAPI Awareness Month as well, or Heritage Month, I can't quite remember exactly which way it goes. People have been saying both, so I'm not sure. I think reading from an Asian author about one of my favourite times to read about is going to be absolutely fascinating, and it does that thing that I was saying with Kate Moss where it goes from present to past and joins the 2 stories together. So I am so looking forward to reading this. And will we just look at the cover? How gorgeous is that? It's beautiful. I am so looking forward. I can't wait to read this. And book 5 is The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. Oh, sorry if I sparkled you a little bit there. This is about 2 sisters who are twins, who are light-skinned black women, one of whom is proud to be black and the other who decides to pass as white because she doesn't want to be seen as black. And this, I believe, is inspired by another story which is similar, but I can't remember the name of it. And it's about the different lives these women have. So one marries a black man, has black children, and the other marries a white man and has white children, and he has no idea that she's actually a black woman. And then I believe something else happens, but I don't want to read too much into it because the premise of this just fascinates me, how there's that dichotomy of how you present and if you can pass as one or the other, and how it would change the lives of twins, because twins, obviously identical twins, grow up and everything's the same, and the study on how different experiences shape what is effectively the same genetic person, I find absolutely fascinating. So this to me sounds incredible. 2 sisters who take different paths in life, and we get to see the difference it makes in their lives, especially in America where one appears black and one appears white. Number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6 is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I finally picked it up. I wasn't going to pick it up, but I ended up picking it up. This is about a woman who, I believe, kills herself or tries to kill herself and ends up in the Midnight Library, which shows her, there are different books I believe, which shows her the sort of what if. So if she changed one thing, how would her life work? She goes into these worlds, and I'm guessing it comes with the idea that not every chance is going to be a perfect life. Just because you regret not doing something or doing something doesn't necessarily mean that thing would have made things better. So I absolutely loved How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, but I worried that it was a fluke because I'd heard not so great things about this, as well as other people who absolutely loved it. So I decided to pick it up. It was staring at me and I decided to pick it up. Hopefully I love it because like I say, I really did love How to Stop Time, and people do rave about Matt Haig. So yeah, hopefully I really like this, and please let me know what you think about it. Next up for book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is Punching in the Air by AZebraReads and Youssef Salaam. This is about, or based around the Exonerated 5, who I believe were 5 black men that were arrested for a crime they did not commit simply because they were black. Eventually they were exonerated, and I mean, shouldn't have been arrested in the first place, let's face it. And this is a work of fiction set in verse about that experience through a character. So it says, Amal Shahid has always been an artist and a poet, but even his diverse art school, because of a biased system, he's seen as disruptive and unmotivated. Then one fateful night, an altercation in a gentrifying neighbourhood escalates into tragedy. Boys just being boys turns out to be true only when those boys are white. Suddenly, at just 16-year-old, Amal is convicted of a crime he didn't commit and sent to prison. Despair and rage almost sink him until he turns to the refuge of his words, his art. This never should have been his story, but can he change it? So this I feel is very, very important. It looks like a big chunky book, but a lot of it is in prose. So I've discovered that I quite like books in prose. I am fascinated by how you can tell such a big story with so little words, and I'm so excited to get to this. It is a very important story as well. I'm still on my journey of learning about Black lives and how they are affected by systematic racism in America, in the UK, other places in the world, because it's not just America, it's not just America's problem. A lot of the literature is coming out of America because they have a systematic problem that is more focused on than anywhere else. However, I have had and do have some books based in the UK, like Black and British, which focus on being Black and British, but things like this I find fascinating and can't wait to read. I've heard amazing things about AZebraReads, and Jason Reynolds has blurbed the front of it. I love Jason Reynolds' book, Rolling Me Down. I can't even tell you how much I love that book. I read it in one sitting, wanted to read it again. I think I might have read it again. The ending shook me to my core. It just punched me in the heart. And I've never stopped thinking about it since I read it, so hopefully this has the same impact. The next book, I'm going to stop counting because I can't remember how many books we're on, is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I mentioned this in another vlog, another video, because I'm reading it for the May the Force Be With You read along, so readathon. So this is about Maverick Carter, Star's father from The Hate You Give, and this is about him when he's 17 years old. It says, with his King Lord dad in prison and his mum working 2 jobs, 17-year-old Maverick Carter helps the only way he knows how, slinging drugs. Life's not perfect, but he's got everything under control, until he finds out he's a father. Suddenly, it's not so easy to deal drugs and finish school with a baby depending on him for everything. So when he's offered the chance to go straight, he takes it. But when King Lord blood runs through your veins, you don't just get to walk away. I absolutely love The Hate You Give. I loved On the Come Up. I am so excited to read this book. I've been waiting for this book to come out. We get this lovely Waterstones exclusive edition with its blue sprayed edges and beautiful blue tones. I absolutely love this. They did, I believe, the On the Come Up, I think my version is purple and The Hate You Give is pink, so I'm loving the colour schemes that they have with this. It is beyond stunning, absolutely beyond stunning, and I can't wait to read this. And the next book is Such a Fun Age by Kelly Reid. This is about a babysitter, and she is black and she's looking after a white child, and someone calls the police and accuses her of kidnapping this child, and she is, I think, arrested for it. Yeah, says, when Amira is apprehended at a supermarket for kidnapping the white child she's actually babysitting, her employer Alex resolves to make things right. So begins a crash course that will upend everything they think they know about themselves, each other, and the messy dynamics of privilege. So basically, the white parents of this white child try to apologise in a way to this babysitter that goes too far. And they're not understanding their privilege, they're not understanding that when you go, again, like I said in another video, that thing that we white people do where we go so far the other direction that it runs back around to racist and we don't even notice because we don't listen. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Again, it's a very important story. Again, it had stickers and it's horrible. But yeah, so this is also a winner, or longlisted, sorry, for the 2020 Booker Prize, and by the sounds of some things I'm not surprised. It is blurbed by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, so I'm looking forward to this. I'm basically just saying I'm looking forward to all of them because why would I buy them if I wasn't looking forward to them? Next video is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. I read Wilder Girls last year and didn't like it too much, but there's something about it that there's just something about it and I can't pin it down, so I'll probably reread it to see how I feel about it. But this was a cover buy. It's gorgeous. Look at it with the pink writing. I love that about the Wilder Girls book. That we had this bright pink writing and then what looks like Shakira in the background. But yeah, so I have no clue what this is about, and I think it's about a town where the girl's mother left the town and she goes back to the town and creepy things start happening. I don't know. This is not usually my usual genre, but because of the way I felt about Wilder Girls, I just really wanted to read this and give it another chance. And again, the cover, it's beautiful. The next book I bought is Firebird by Elizabeth Wine. I have all of Elizabeth Wine's other books, so this was a no-brainer to pick up. It is super thin, the writing is super huge. I think this is maybe meant for more on the child side, but I love her books, so I decided to pick it up. This is about Nastya, and she's a pilot, daughter of revolutionaries, and now as Russia enters the Second World War, she must fight to save the glorious motherland. But when the battles begin and life itself is at stake, long-held secrets are revealed, forcing Nastya to question everything she once thought she knew. So yeah, this says on the front, daughter pilot traitor, the question mark. So this is about a Russian pilot, a female Russian pilot, and from the little bits that Elizabeth Wine has dropped in about female Russian pilots, I am really excited to read this. And I hopefully will get to it soon because it is very much going to be a quick read. The next book is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Again, I mentioned this because I'm reading it for the Star Wars readathon. This is Pride and Prejudice but with zombies, as the title says. So the Bennett sisters are zombie hunters. They live in this world where zombies exist. I've seen the movie, it's utter chaos. I want to read the book, simple as. The next book is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. Again, I have all of Ruta Sepetys' other books, and one of the things I like about her writing is that she does points in time and points during World War II that we don't normally see the perspective of. So this, for example, is Spain's civil war and the effect it had on the people. I didn't even know Spain had a civil war, although I feel like everybody had a civil war at some point. So I'm really excited to read this. Ruta Sepetys does history so well. Elizabeth Wine loves it, so that's a big plus for me. I don't really know much about it, I just trust Ruta Sepetys and, you know, I'm gonna read it. The next book is American Royals by Catherine McGee. This is an alternate reality when the Americans won the War of Independence, George Washington was offered a crown instead of a presidency, and it's about the line of Washington, the royal family of America, and they're about to crown the new heir. as far as I'm aware, and people keep saying that if you like Red, White and Royal Blue and Prince Charming and Her Royal Highness, then you'll really like this, and again, beautiful sprayed edges. So I thought I'd give it a try. What is there to lose? It is probably going to be another easy read. It's spaced out really wide, and it's something that I am starting to get more into. The next book is one that I have been waiting for since I saw it was released, or since before it was released, and that is Witches Steeped in Gold. Can we take a moment of silence to appreciate this cover? I can't even tell you how beautiful this is. I mean, look at my teal walls. I have plants. The gold, it's stunning. This is about, I don't know if it's sisters or it's two witches. I did read the synopsis before and really liked it, but it's been that long that I've read it that I'm not quite sure. So we'll read it together. It says, Aria Adair has spent her life in a cell, heir of an overthrown and magically gifted dynasty. She was exiled from the island nation of Aika, but every day brings her closer to freedom and vengeance. Jasmine Cario grew up dressed in gold, with soul and magic at her fingertips. Daughter of the self-crowned Dorian, her existence is a threat to her mother's rule, but Jasmine has no intention of dying. Sworn enemies, the two witches enter a deadly alliance to take down the woman who threatens both their worlds. But revenge is a bloody pursuit, and nothing is certain except the lengths Iria and Jasmine will go to win this game. So this is definitely not something I would normally read, but since I read Tomi Adeyemi's books, I quite liked the way it worked in the folklore from, again, a place that I never read folklore from. So this to me, I feel like is going to be so interesting. I don't know why, I just have a feeling that I'm going to really enjoy it. Every time I look at it, I just want to stare at it, I just want to read it, I just want to be part of it. So yeah, I'm hopefully going to enjoy this, which again I've said probably about every book. So, and the next book is Those Who Are Loved by Victoria Hislop. Again, this is another World War II historical fiction because it's me we're talking about. However, this is set in Greece. I have never read a World War II historical fiction set in Greece. And look at me, expanding my borders. It's still fairly Eurocentric, but it's one that I've never read from. So this is Athens, 1941. Nazi forces occupy Greece and a nation falls apart. 15-year-old Themis comes from a family polarised in its political views. The Nazi occupation only deepens the fault lines between those she loves, while it reduces Greece to destitution. In the civil war following the end of the occupation, Themis joins the communist army to fight for her beliefs. Ultimately imprisoned on the infamous island of exiles, Makronesos, and then Trikeri. This is difficult. Themis encounters another prisoner whose life will entwine with hers in ways neither can foresee. She finds she must weigh her principles against her desire to escape and live. As she looks back on her life, Themis realises how tightly the personal and political are entangled. While some wounds heal, others deepen. So this sounds so interesting. Again, like Fountains of Silence, like How We Disappeared, this is something that I've not read from before, and I'm really excited to broaden that knowledge, broaden my horizons of the world. Yeah. And we're on to the last book. So the last book that I am going to haul is 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. I have a thing for Greek fiction, Greek mythology, so yeah. Is it really surprising that I ended up picking this up? So it is. This was never the story of one woman or two, it was the story of all of them. In the middle of the night, Cressa wakes up to find her beloved city engulfed in flames. 10 seemingly endless years of conflict between Greeks and the Trojans are over. Troy has fallen. From the Trojan women, whose fates now lie in the hands of the Greeks, to the Amazon princess who fought Achilles on their behalf, to Penelope awaiting the return of Odysseus, to the three goddesses whose feud started it all. These are the stories of the women embroiled in the legendary war. Powerfully told from an all-female perspective, in 1,000 Ships, Natalie Haynes puts the women, girls and goddesses at the centre of the story. So this is basically the Trojan War told from the perspective of the women rather than the men. I absolutely loved Song of Achilles, which is Trojan War based, and it followed Achilles and Patroclus. Still can't. My heart. I can't. But this sounds amazing. This sounds fantastic because a lot of the time in history women are forgotten, and the women are probably steeped in some of the most amazing stories to tell from history because nobody pays attention to women, especially not back in history. And that means that women hear things and see things and know things that people don't realise that they have picked up on. And if we had a chance to speak to these women, I think they'd be much more interested in the men who went to war. So although this is fictionalised, I love that she's given the women the chance to speak. Okay, that's it. That is my haul for April. I am so excited. How many books was that? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 books. That's 17 books to add to my TBR. Well, I've not been able to buy new books for months. It's fine. I will be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But yeah, I'm so excited to get to some of these and hopefully I will be able to get through them really quickly. I am going to be looking at my TBR cart and unhauling some things. There were some things that were on the maybe level when I unhauled the last time, so given that I'm still not interested in them, I might just unhaul them. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, it is May. Happy EDS Awareness Month. Happy AAPI month. I hope that you have fun reading this month. I hope that you pick up some things that will educate you more on Asian perspectives, on disabled perspectives, and it tweaks and piques your interest to pick up more. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!